Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Mark 1 Tower, this is Albatross 1-3, requesting permission to land, over.
I don't need a computer to tell me how to land a damn airplane.
6.
Heads-up display, check.
5,
Lasers, check.
4,
Particle beam, check.
3,
Proton bolts, check.
2,
Chair control, check.
1.
Let's do it.
Broadcasting from a secret underground location somewhere in Mos Eisley, this is the Docking Bay 77 podcast. Make yourself comfortable. The show is about to start.
I'm busy talking to this guy when I see out of the corner of my eye. Look who's here, how you doing? Why don't you tell me who let you in? We don't care if you think our party's cool, 'cause we do. We don't care if you have more fun in Sunday school, 'cause who invited you? Who invited you? Who invited you? What do I do to get
Hello and welcome to the Docking Bay 77 podcast. I am your host, Dayton Johnson, and I'm excited. I'm ready to rock. I'm, enjoying the month of March. And as you've noticed, if you've been listening in order, we have been focusing a lot on female artists, musically and also in film. And that trend continues. And I've invited a couple of guys along to talk about a band. And here we go. First, a guy who is all messed up, but he don't care. So there. Welcome back, Disney John. How's it going, Disney?
Hey, I am doing Disney-rific. I will,
Disney-rific.
yeah, Tiggerific, really.
You know what I mean?
I'm actually doing pretty Tiggerific this week.
Also, a guy that as a teen wanted to hear "Take Me to the Back Seat," but usually heard "You're Not the One." How's it going, Tim?
I mean, that is about as true as it gets.
Ouch! Hold on, Tim. I'll get that dagger for you, man.
But see, Tim knows I'm right there with him, so it's
Yeah. High
So,
school was not a great time for us.
the same side, same side of the same coin. It was just like, yeah, well, anyway.
Mhm.
So, and as I mentioned before, we are discussing women in music, and we're discussing an album from a band described as, quote, every mother's nightmare and every schoolboy's dream. So we're going to spend the night with the Donnas.
We don't put any song on the record that we don't like.
We try really hard to think of it as an album instead of let's write a single and then some other filler songs. I mean, I know everyone tries to write great albums. Yeah, a lot of people say it, but do they stress out about it and cry?
Disney John,
Yes.
You have a little bit of history on the band, the Donnas.
I do. So I will say that prior to you asking me to do this one, I had never heard of the Donnas. Okay, I was really fascinated by this, and I started listening to their music, and I went way off script and started listening to all of their music, and it was it's quite the journey and fun.
It is.
Well, that is very good to hear, actually, because I thought I was going to be the noob on this episode.
No, I genuinely, and anyways, I grew up during the time. Well, not grew up. I was a grown man during this time, so maybe that could have been the reason, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. The history of the Donnas. So the Donnas were an American rock band formed in Palo Alto, California in 1993. The band consisted of Brett Anderson on lead vocals, Allison Robertson on guitar and backing vocals, Maya Ford on the bass guitar and backing vocals, and Tori Castellino on drums, percussion, and backing vocals. And she rocks.
Yes, she does.
Seriously. So Amy Cesare replaced Castellino, who left the band in 2009 due to tendinitis. They drew inspiration from the Ramones, which is how they got the name the Donnas.
Right.
The Ramones took all the last name as Ramones. The Donnas did the same thing. And they used the first letter of their last name.
Right.
So it was like Donna R, Donna F. The Runaways, Schoolgirls, AC/DC, Bachman Turner Overdrive, and Kiss. Rolling Stone had stated that the Donnas offer a guileless take on adolescent alienation. They traffic in Kicks, not catharsis. Fun rather than rage. MTV has stated that the band offers a good old-fashioned rock and roll party. I will say, I 1000% agree with that. It is just fun music to listen to.
Yes.
I can't help you bobbing your head, you're bouncing around. I had it on at work several times. People coming in and going like, wow, what are you listening to? I'm like, oh, this is the Donnas. So it was really fun to really pass along this music and have other people start listening to it. So
right.
Yeah,
So,
it's absolutely interesting.
So two things real quick. I was introduced to them by a coworker when I worked at a portrait photography studio. He mentioned them, and then he gave me a CD copy of this particular record.
Wow.
So that's kind of how I was introduced to them. And then, of course, the single "Take It Off" appears in the movie Dodgeball, which we've talked about before. So it's in there. It also appears in some Guitar Hero games and stuff like that. So, and they also do a fantastic cover of the Kiss song "Strutter" for the Detroit Rock City movie soundtrack. So another one of those movies. It's a terrible movie with a great soundtrack.
I'm gonna have to watch Dodgeball again.
Right. Any reason to watch that again. But yeah, another thing that when they first formed, they were 13 years old. And they also, for a while, had a speed metal thrash band.
Yes, they did. That was
called the Electrocutes.
Yeah, the Electrocutes, man.
Yes.
I thought that was an awesome name. I was like, yes, they rock it.
It's a great name. Great name. So, all right. Thank you, Disney John.
You're welcome.
All right, Tim, some production history on this record. I know there's not a lot, but what have you got for us?
Well, you're right. There's not a whole lot, but it was released on Atlantic Records October 22nd of 2002. Producers were Jason Carmer and Robert Shimp, who also worked as engineers on the album, along with Sean Beresford, dime assistant Clint Roth, Jesse Nichols, and Michael Rosen. Looks like the single "Take It Off" peaked at number 19 on the Billboard Modern Rock Tracks chart.
Right. And it was the first major label album from them, but it was their fifth album overall. I did see that. And
yes, it was the fifth studio album.
Yeah, and it was the first of their albums to chart on the Billboard 200. I think it was peaking at number 62. So,
yes.
So overall pretty successful album. I did see that it, as of 2005, it had sold over 450,000 copies, which, for a small band like this, that's a pretty good sale.
Yeah, so it really is.
I'm all done. Yeah, it's time to have some real fun. So I'm calling all my ladies. We're gonna key your Mercedes. Well, you're the kind of guy who needs attention around the clock. Well, you can't even talk, 'cause baby, it's on the rocks. Yeah, it's on the rocks. Well, it's me you gotta.
All right. Let's move on to some opening thoughts and opinions of this album. So, Tim, what say you about this record?
Well, like I mentioned, this was the first time I'd sat and listened to the Donnas. I'd heard them mentioned in passing before, but I'd never really taken the time to check them out. I do remember the one track from the Dodgeball soundtrack. But really, yeah, I'd never really sat down and listened to them. And it's very, very pop punk, get to the point of the song and do it fast and hit you in the face and then move on to the next track.
Right. Very true. All right. Disney John, opening thoughts?
My opening thought, are we going to be talking about cover art at all during this, or can
you go right ahead?
So I have to say that my impression before I even listened to them was the cover art reminded me of the Sandra Dee scene in Grease. Okay, so I didn't know what to expect from that, right? Because I didn't spoil anything for myself, so I didn't look up anything about the Donnas before I hit play. So my mind was blown from that, because my brain was already twisted over to one side, and I was thinking like, wow, this seems like out of Dayton's like normal thing, and all of a sudden they started rocking out. I was like, oh no, there it is. It was so much fun to listen to the first time. And every time since then, but it was so much fun. I truly didn't know what to expect, and it really hit it hit a minute with me, man. It just hit, it went, and it didn't stop until you got to the end of the album. You go, oh, replay. So it was fun. I found myself bouncing my head to all the music. It was like I'm listening to the series, and what I didn't do is I tried to hide how many times things were listened to, just so I wouldn't know like which ones were the most popular. And I have to admit, Take It Off is definitely like number one, right? I mean, I didn't know that at the time, but I mean,
Right.
after going back, I was like, oh, son of a bitch. Okay, that is no wonder people like that song. So
Right. Now the cover art was actually the concept of the girls in the band. The Donnas came up with that. And as I like to mention, when we're talking about other artists, all the music was written by the members in the band. They all share the credit. So it's not like so and so in the band
Yes.
wrote it and whatever. So I think that's pretty cool.
Well, that was something that they wanted to get away from, right? Because they almost stopped the Donnas. I mean, they almost let the Donnas just fall through after a Japanese tour, and they got back and they were like, yeah, we just don't want to be singing some white guy's music.
Right.
They were like, we want to sing our own stuff. They're like, well, why don't we write our own? And thank God they did.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Thinking about the cover and the tie you made to the Grease soundtrack, I was just thinking, kind of alongside of that, is that if Grease was set in the 70s and not the 50s, it would probably look just like this.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, really, it would.
Sandra D was a little bit more of a rebel, she's probably got a Ramones poster up on her wall, and we'd have had that song instead of Sandra D.
With a Swatch watch up on the wall. Like, oh my goodness. You're right. Wow, you nailed that one.
So, like I said, I had actually heard this record when it was new, but overall, it's like you mentioned, it's just a fun, solid rock and roll album. You definitely hear the influences, especially from the Ramones and Kiss.
100%.
It's all there. I did notice quite a few times that Allison was channeling her inner Ace Frehley for her leads. There was a couple of them that's like I'm listening, going like, okay, she just plucked that right out of a Kiss song, and that's cool. I'm okay with that. They don't waste any time, like you said. They just kind of get in, get out, and the song's over in 3 minutes or less. And when it's over, you just want to hear it all again. So I love the lyrical attitude on this album. They definitely celebrate their party lifestyle and their sexual freedom, and they just don't even care what anybody's saying about them. And I think that is fantastic. So,
well, I mean, it was just like, I mean, holy crap, where were these girls when I was growing up?
Right.
I mean, like, sincerely, like, because they say, like, I mean, what was it? Somebody said that was just like being in, like, knowing the Donnas was like being in detention with your best friends. And I was like, oh my God.
I can tell you exactly where they were. They were turning me and Dayton down at the high school dances.
On point.
Oh my God.
On point, Tim. All right. So what we're going to do is we've each chosen 3 songs we want to talk about, and we're each going to take turns doing one at a time. So we're going to go Disney John, then Tim, then me. So,
all right.
So yes, Disney John, you get to go first. What's the first track you want to talk about?
And I hate it because I love it. And it's the most obvious one, but here is my criteria for choosing the songs. I listened to this the other day at work, and I had a full hour that I was able to sit at my desk and just have the music on. And every time that I found myself just banging my head, I looked up and noticed the song. And so that's how I chose these 3 songs. It was musically, they were the ones that really got me moving. And it's obvious, it's Take It Off. It was my, it is my number one choice. I really enjoy that song. Like, I don't know why. It's so good. It makes my head bounce. And then when you start really listening to the lyrics, I'm just like, wow, these girls were either the horniest girls that were like unabashedly going like, we're horny, let's go. Like, do not slow play this. I'm ready.
Right.
But it was fun. It was. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how to word it. It's because guys do it all the time. It's just it's what's expected. But like,
guys, rock stars have been doing it for 40 years. So yeah.
And listening to these girls do it was amazing, and it was very freeing and very liberating. And it wasn't like a feministic way of doing it. It was just like, this is the same crap that you could talk to about with your friends, with our co-dudes, right? So it was very fun and refreshing.
Sometimes when you hear like female artists doing the quote unquote guy thing in a song, it almost feels a little jarring.
Yes.
And with the Donnas, it feels perfectly natural. Like, yes, this is exactly what they should be doing.
Yeah.
It makes sense for their I'm not even sure where I wanted to go with that, but
I know, right?
it makes sense for the Donnas.
It does. And it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like, oh, this girl is trying to sing about sex like the way guys do. It was, no, they are talking about sex in such a way that it just is so real. And I was just like, and once I got into the lyrics, I was like, oh, damn. Like, I was like, oh, these are spicy. Okay.
Yeah. Spicy is a good word for it.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. All right. Tim, what's your first track you want to talk about?
First one, I don't care, so there.
Yeah.
I just love the attitude of the song because it's applicable to guys or girls. You know, you're at a party, you're trying to hook up, you're having fun, you're meeting people, and you think, hey, I think I'm going to go and hit on that one over there in the corner, and you start talking to them, and you think it's working, and then they don't respond. You're like, okay, well, you know what? There's plenty of other people that are just as good. So see you later.
Yeah, it's very catchy.
Moving on.
Yeah, very. Yeah, and that's one thing about the whole record for the most part. Very catchy. You know, you find yourself just going along with the choruses and for sure. So that's a good pick.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Yeah, it kind of leads because I based all my choices on the chorus specifically.
Okay.
Mostly because it was something that was in my head, like I would keep singing along to it, or there was something in it that really caught my attention. So my first pick is All Messed Up.
Oh, nice one. Yeah.
Well, it's just one of those. The guitar is really cool, and I love the drums because it kind of there's a little bit of a hesitation. It's a different sound during the chorus, and especially you get a little bit of use of the cowbell. It's not overpowering. It's just there, just enough. I love the flow, the lyrics in the chorus, especially how the guitar and the lyric, now I'm all messed up, flow together. And just very cool, especially the outro with the overlapping vocals is cool as well. So yeah, that's my first pick.
Okay,
good.
That's a good one though.
Yeah.
And it's one of those that I don't think there's going to be any. There's only 2 tracks on this album I don't love, so I don't think we're going to have too many issues.
Ooh, I'd be interested to hear about those at the end.
That sounds good to me. All right, Disney John, your second pick.
You want to get me high?
That's actually one of mine. That's my second pick too.
Every time that I played this album, I was just like, you want to get me high? And then they go into the guitar solo towards the middle. And I mean, it was just, these girls had some talent. I mean, they just so good. And then when I watched some of the live YouTube videos, like we were talking about beforehand, like that drummer, it was insane. I mean, she is in her element doing that. She just loved what she did. So yeah. You want to get me high. It's just fast paced. And I love the chorus. Like you're saying, like, you want to get me high. You want to get me high. It
gets stuck in my head. It just gets stuck there, you know? Well, it's funny.
People make fun of pop music in general for being really simplistic and really just kind of not deep, not real complicated. But there is a real art to being able to craft a good pop chorus for a song. Something that's short, gets right to the point, and hooks you.
Drills right into your ear hole, and you just can't get it out.
Yeah. People bash on it because, pop songs, they're so, it's bubblegum. They're simple. They're not hard to do. Well, musically that may be true, but to actually craft it in such a way that's going to be that memorable, that takes some real skill. And I don't think a lot of pop artists get enough credit for being able to do that. And
I remember
the Donnas are definitely in that category.
I remember all the bubblegum rock that I listened to growing up. I listened to Q102 growing up here in Cincinnati, and that's all they played was that bubblegum pop rock. I remember it all. Hate it, love it, kill it. That's what I grew up with. So like to me, that's my culture. I love the 80s music. I love that kind of pop rock stuff. But I mean, I have a much wider breadth, particularly since Dayton's allowed me the privilege of being on the show. To really but like honestly, he's really like listening to all of the shows that he's done with all the varied music. It really has given me a much deeper appreciation for listening to a much wider variety of music. And I've just noticed my listening has moved away. Like I used to only listen to pentatonics. I mean, truthfully, but now I've really broadened my horizons quite a bit since then. And the Donnas are going to be in a playlist. I mean, that's just the way it is. I love the Donnas. They're very good.
No, since you mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and talk about this one too. The fact that the song is just good anyway, but when the chorus kicks in, it feels like it shifts into another speed, even though it doesn't, just because the chorus just rolls off.
You wanna get me, you wanna get me high. You wanna get me, now you know my name, you wanna get me high. You're trying to get with me and I don't know why. Call me on the phone, you wanna get me high. Don't remember your name, but really wanna try. You always said I was doing it wrong.
And you're like, whoa, that's just so cool. And it just gets in my head, and I just am, like you said, your head just starts moving because it just
you're just
kicks
like,
in.
I got it going on in the background now.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic song all the way around anyway, but yeah.
Well, Brett Anderson, I think, is a pretty talented singer as well for this genre of music. I think she's a very talented artist.
Yeah, I by far just love her voice. So there's not a lot. I mean, it only has a big range or whatever, but man, it just totally works in the confines of the music they're writing.
What punk artist does, though?
Yeah, right.
You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Yeah, you're true. Very true. So, all right, Tim, what's the second track you want to talk about?
Well, we're just gonna back up one track from the one you guys are talking about. Who Invited You?
That was almost on my list.
It's like the my first pick. I just love the attitude of the song. You know, it's that we all had our cliques in high school and college, the people we hung out with, and there were always that other group of the more popular kids who looked down on you and tried to make fun of you. And every now and then the groups would overlap at a party, and you would just look at each other like, man, who invited you? You are just bringing me down. I don't want you here. Take a hike.
That was every party I went to.
Yeah, there's always this one group of people that shows up and ruins everything. I love the reference to your Sunday school. That just cracks me up. So anyway, but no, that's a fun song. Like I said, at one point it was on my list, and so I'm glad you brought it up. So
yeah, same.
Great tune.
I almost put just the top 3 songs on this whole list. I like of the album. Like Spotify, I guess, puts them in a different order because I almost took the first 3 songs from Spotify and just was like,
the most downloaded songs.
Yeah. I just was so good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right. The thing about this album, it's like, it's just fun, and it's, you kind of put it on, and you for just shy of 40 minutes, you're just kind of ignoring, the world and just having a good time. So
seriously.
All right. Well, we already mentioned mine, so we're back over to you, Disney John. What's your third?
That was so fast.
I know.
It's called.
We're going as fast as the tracks on this album.
Right.
It's called Hey, I'm going to Pass It Around.
That's on my list too.
I went so far off the beaten path this time. I understand how you could have possibly chosen.
Should we just pause for like 5 minutes so you guys can pick 2 other songs?
I know, right?
Well, and it's like, because the you start thinking about the track listing, and the record opens so strong, and it's like really good. And like I said, there's only one. I'll get to them here when we're done, but there's only 2 tracks in here, but it just moves, you know what I mean? So you're just kind of getting through there. And, but no. So why did you pick Pass It Around? I'm curious if it's the same reasons for me.
Honestly, by the time I get to this song in that track list, again, it's on Spotify. I don't know if it's the same as what was on the original release. I get to Pass It Around and I'm just like, holy crap, this is awesome. Like all of a sudden it's just like bright, like head bopping. You're just like, okay, this is great. And then I wanted to find out, what am I passing around, which was not what you'd think it was.
I know.
It was just a glass of alcohol. And I'm like,
right.
Hell yes. I would so much rather do that. That's my drug of choice anyhow. So I was like, oh wait, I have to go back and now listen to the lyrics.
Yeah.
And it made me so happy when I realized, I'm like, wait, we're just passing around a glass? Hell yes. I want to be at your party.
Right.
Yeah, that one took me probably the second listen through to pick up on that
right.
What they were referencing.
Yeah, it's track number 8 on the track listing. So it's on the second side
God.
too.
It is the same. Okay.
So yeah. No, but I just love the song because like I said, my choices were all based on the chorus.
Sorry, but you just can't hang. Why don't you pass it around? Don't bring the party down. If you don't pass it around, we'll run you right out of this town. Why don't you pass it around? Don't bring the party down. If you don't pass it around, we'll run you right out of this town.
I love the melody for the chorus. I find myself singing this one out of nowhere. Like even right before I came down here and set up the studio, this was a song that was in my head. You know, it was just there. It's short, but it's short and simple, but a lot of fun. And the line, if you don't pass it around, we'll run you right out of this town. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I'm just like, I love it. And specifically, this is one of the songs where I do hear Ace Frehley's influence in the guitar solo.
Listening to it right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a couple notes, just like there's a progression in her soul. You're like, yeah, I hear Ace Frehley in there. So, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So,
I mean,
so much of the time they do kind of feel like an updated female version of the Ramones. And the Ramones didn't really have a whole lot of guitar solos, but the Ace Frehley reference, they definitely did take some of that Kiss, a little more guitar driven sound. And, you know, you got to have a good solo with that.
Right.
Well, and I feel that they're the perfect love child of the Ramones, and like all of their, I mean, they legitimately took all of their artists, all of their people that they drew inspiration from and merged it into the Donnas, which was like this perfect love child. And I think the Ramones are the heaviest influence because, I mean, you hear that in them more, I think, than anything else, right? And I'm listening to it going like, oh, I can see how the Ramones influenced them because this is freaking amazing.
And they're in a hurry.
They are. So do you have anything else to say about that?
Well, it's just like I said, it's the song that out of all the times I've been through it, it's the one that I kind of feel like my head wants to sing that chorus all the time, you know, and it just like right now I'm just going, nah, 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 nah. It's like, it's just in there, you know, and it's just fantastic. Yeah. And like I said, this whole record is just very to the point. Get in, get out, have fun, and you know, we're moving on. So yeah, fantastic choice. And so now I'm gonna have to pick another one because we've had 2.
I know, right? I can't believe that never happens with us, Dave.
No, it doesn't. All right, Tim, track number 3 for you.
I picked track number 11, Please Don't Tease.
Oh, that's a good one too.
It is a good one.
It's a good one, yeah. And the main thing that made me pick it right off the bat, that kind of drew my ear to it, is right at the intro. And I don't mean this as a bash on the rest of the album, because it's definitely not, but They do have a very predictable formula for the songs. It's either everybody comes in on the one, or there's like 4 measures of a guitar and then everybody comes in on the one. And the guitar sounds are very heavy gain, very, very high gain sounds. And it's a very consistent sound throughout the album, except on the intro to this one. There's a very different, almost like a kind of a less overdriven, almost like a 70s kind of tone right at the beginning. And it just kind of, it perks your ear up because it's different from what you've been hearing for 10 songs before that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I hear that. Yeah. All right.
I'm listening to that now too. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I see exactly what you mean.
Well, it's like you can say that also with Sorry About Your Girl. You know, there's a little bit of a different intro to that too.
Yes. Yeah, that's another one.
It's kind of
almost made my list.
Yeah, it's the guitar is a little bit more muted and it's kind of quiet. You know, it's like and there.
Yeah.
And then it just kicks in to and like I said before, lyrically, this is the attitude in here. You know, like here she is. You know, well, she's a guy at a party or whatever, picks him, but yet, too bad. You know, your girlfriend's here, but eventually she's sitting on his lap anyway. So it's
right. Please don't tease.
Right? I love it. Oh, love it.
Go ahead, pick a new one.
No, well, yeah. Okay. Well, I mentioned Too Bad About Your Girl because I do like the the way that enters, but It's on the Rocks just is a great way to open the record.
Damn it. I was gonna say I'll pick the other one. It's On the Rocks. I swear to you, I am not kidding.
And that is a strong opener for this album. It really was.
Yeah, it's a great way to open the record. It just kind of says, okay, this is the way the rest of the album is going to be. It's just strap in and
the blueprint right there.
Yeah, yeah,
it really is.
But another one, take me to the back seat just because of what the whole attitude. It's like I don't want a relationship. I know you're into me. Let's just go.
Yeah.
It's like.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the whole album, though. Really, if you really look at the album, the lyrics, look at the song titles. I mean, it is really all about these girls getting laid. I mean, genuinely.
And it makes me laugh. And I'm thinking, man, where was that girl when I was in high school and in college? Just come on, take me to the back seat. I'm like, okay, where was that?
They didn't get they weren't as evolved until like the 2000s, I guess, But I just the whole album is unabashedly sexual. I mean, It's just it is sex from beginning to end.
And I think the reason I really do enjoy them is because a lot of times female artists, music artists are writing these love songs, or even when we mentioned when we did our top 7 songs by female artists, Amber's list was all love songs and stuff like that. And a lot of us talked about, that kind of, emotion or whatever and sad, songs written by these women. Well, here comes the Donnas and said, we're not doing that.
Nope. Well, they were like punk light, maybe.
Right. I mean, it's straight up rock and roll, with from the Ramones touch and the Kiss, idea. And
it's the Ramones, but with a little more pop sensibility.
Right.
Yes.
And a better production.
Yes. Very, very true. So, but yeah, I really like the fact that they have a point of view and what they like and what they want, and they don't care. And I think there needs to be more artists like that when it comes to writing songs. I mean, how many, we even joked with Adele, it's like if she's ever going to be happy, she's never going to have a career again. So it's, she like, you need to write something else, and I understand you write your life experiences. Well, so did they.
Yeah.
and they do not apologize for it. So
they don't. I mean, I genuinely enjoy that about this album. I mean, it's not something that you
they
hear
clearly had a better high school experience than I did. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah. Okay. So, so the 2 tracks that I'm not in love with,
I'm curious.
We've named most of all of them already. So, Dirty Denim.
Damn it. I knew it.
I was, that was probably the one for me also.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, because it's kind of okay. You know, I mean, it's not terrible, but I'm just kind of like, okay, that's fine, no big deal. And then actually, I'm not a big fan of the final track on the album, 5 o'clock
Yeah,
in the
5
morning.
o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
okay.
it's funny because it's the longest song on the record, and I don't like it. I just think it's, and it kind of just ends too. And I
Do
don't.
you think that's because all of the rest are like half to third that length? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I think when you get used to writing 3 minutes or less songs, that maybe sometimes when it extends out, you kind of run out of ideas, maybe. And that's kind of how it feels a little bit. Like I said, the song just ends too, which I just kind of like, what, so
you're like,
I mean,
what?
but I don't hate it, and I didn't skip either one of those songs. So
I didn't either, but they were definitely the one hit. They were definitely the two hits on for me that I was just like, I'm not in love with this song, but I'm not skipping this song either, which is kind of funny for me because like if I don't like a song, you're like, pink, next.
Yeah, out of the other tracks on the album, these are probably the ones that everything else on the album. There's so much that's so good on the album, and these are just okay.
Right.
So they're not bad. They're just okay. They're not.
Yes.
The other ones I think are superior just because they've got that great pop sensibility to them that really. I mean, and they're like laser focused on it. We were talking before we started recording, Dayton. I was talking about my friend that I would talk with songwriting stuff, and he mentioned his professor in a music theory class talked about songwriting and said one of the rules that he always kept reiterating over and over in the class: don't bore us, hit us with the chorus. And like, they are just bam, there it is.
They sure are. Don't bore us, hit us with the chorus. Nice.
All right. Is there anything else you guys want to say about this particular record before we take a quick break?
I am very happy that Atlantic Records picked them up and that this was their first really kind of like major hit album because they deserve the recognition. And if you have never listened to their catalog of music, go do yourself a favor. Go listen to some Donnas. It's just a fun time.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm happy to be on this episode because I got to hear this album and I hadn't heard it before. And I'd heard people mention it and I kind of heard it in passing, but never really paid a whole lot of attention to it. And I'm happy I did.
Well, good.
The only reason, by the way, Dayton, that the Donnas were not on our top 7 female artists was because I knew we were doing this episode.
Yeah,
but
that's why I left them off too.
I would have definitely put one on there.
Yeah, that's why I left them off too. So, because I knew we're going to devote a whole episode to them. So, all right. So before we give this record a rating, we're going to take a quick break and hear from our friends at the Doom Generation.
Did you grow up with a lack of parental supervision? Do you know all the lyrics to The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Remember Mayor McCheese and the Fry Guys? Have an inexplicable love for the California Raisins? Can you remember Madonna's original phase? Then you might be a part of the Doom Generation. Laugh until you cry with us each week as we stumble blindly through the memories of the movies and other random things that doomed us to be the salty, sarcastic, sardonic ladies you want to hang with. You know us, you love us, you can't fucking live without us. Doom Generation, available everywhere you find podcasts.
All right, so we are back, and it's time to give a rating to this rock and roll record. So, Disney John, your choices are Never Again, Stream It, Buy It Used, Buy It New, or Vinyl Worthy. What do you say?
Vinyl worthy, my sir. Vinyl worthy.
All right, good choice. Tim's thinking. I can hear his hamster falling off his wheel.
I gotta oil that thing.
Yeah, right. All right. What rating are you giving it?
Yeah, this is a good album. I like it a lot. For my personal tastes, it's a change of pace from what I usually like to listen to. So I'm going to go Buy It New.
Okay. Actually, I'm going to say Buy It New as well. So, full disclosure, I do own a vinyl copy of it because I couldn't pass up finding something that's relatively rare from this band. So I picked it up. There was another early one of their records also was available at one point. It was $200. So I said, no.
Ooh.
Yes. Just like, no, that's okay. It was.
I mean, I like them, but I don't like them $200.
Yeah, this was a lot more manageable. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I definitely give it a Buy It New. It's a very fun rock and roll record for sure. So
yeah. I almost went Buy It New, but while we were doing this, I mean, I had them on in the background in my ear holes, so I could just like also like I'm old, I have to remember things. But I every time I'm just like, I really like this band. I mean, I like their sound, I like it a lot. It's just fun. Like if I went to a party, I want to put Donnas on.
Yeah.
Right. So
Right.
I mean, like I definitely think the vinyl is definitely the way to go. And now that I know that you have that, I might be coming over.
Cool. All right. So just like the record we talked about, this was a very quick episode. But that does not mean that it's not a fantastic listen. So there will be a playlist that I will drop the same day this comes out. It will have this entire record on there. Plus their covers that they do of like, so they mentioned the Kiss cover for Strutter. And they actually do quite a few covers, and they do them very well, which is kind of cool. So I will drop some of those in there, as well as some other songs from their discography. So give that a listen, and please enjoy. So
may I make a suggestion?
Of course you can.
Add a few of their YouTube links in there as well, if you
Yes.
can, like in the show notes, because
Yes.
like watch them live. They're genuinely, they're a nice little presence on stage, and watching
Right.
that drummer just go to town is amazing.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate
Now I
since
know
she
what
was
I'm going to go check out.
well, she was self-taught, so with how she learned to play and plus how hard she played, that's what caused the tendonitis. So which kind of sucks, but
Yeah, I mean I mean, because they were, and then that's something that everybody has to remember when they listen to this band. I mean, because there are gonna be haters out there for everything, but I know that there's a set of haters for the Donna specifically. These women were self-taught people.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, for the love of God, I couldn't self-teach myself anything musically and then go make an album about it, much less multiple albums about it. Okay.
Right.
So like, I think it's pretty inspirational.
Agreed. All right. As always, gentlemen, it's a pleasure chatting with you guys about music and movies and the like. So thank you, Disney John.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
All right. So some upcoming episodes we have, well, next week. Yes, we continue our look at underrated Disney animated movies. Liam, Amber, and Andrew are stopping by, and we are going to discuss The Great Mouse Detective. I'd like to take a minute to thank everybody out there listening. It is fantastic, and it's humbling to think that there's people out there taking time out of their busy schedules to listen to what we have to say. So thank you very much. It means a great deal. Reach out on social media and let us know what we think. What we think. Let us know. Let us know what you think about this record. Let us know if there's something you want us to talk about. Because I've
speaking in the royal sense.
Sorry.
I'm doing and I'm making an effort to kind of broaden my horizons on great many things, including a bluegrass record we are covering in April. So yeah, which was a suggestion from a coworker. So please, if there's something you want to hear us talk about, reach out on social media. You can find us on Twitter at DockingBase77Pod, on Facebook at DockingBase77Podcast. You can send us an email, DockingBase77Podcast@gmail.com. And if whatever app you're using to listen to us, please give us a rating. 5 stars helps us get seen by other people, and it really does matter, the ratings, because it does everything's algorithms, and the more ratings we get, the more people are going to see us. And also leave comments. Some of the apps let you leave comments. I know Good Pods does, and just recently Spotify started adding a section where you can leave a comment on each episode. So we'd love to hear from you. And also share us with your friends, family, and coworkers. Pass this around. Don't bring the party down. Anyway, and you can help in other ways. Go to Patreon and search Docking Base 77. And for as little as $1 a month, you can help offset the cost of this podcast. So give that a try too. Another thing to mention.
Simple.
It is simple.
It is.
And I have 2 patrons with me tonight. So thank you guys.
You're welcome.
And also, you can stop by and visit with me and Disney John in April in Lexington, Kentucky, April 21st, 22nd, 23rd at the Clarion Conference Center in Lexington, Kentucky. It is Lexicon Gaming Convention and RPG, tabletop games, whatever you want to call it, all weekend. And that's what we're going to be doing, as well as hoping to have a playable prototype of the game we've been working on for a few months now. So I'm excited, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Like alpha version.
Yes, it might be playable, but it's not anywhere near done. So keep that in mind when you look at the black and white everything. Anyway, do yourself a favor, listen to more music, and remember, physical media is better than streaming. The Docking Bay 77 podcast is produced and edited by Dayton Johnson, recorded with Rode Pod mics, the Zoom PodTrack P4, and edited on Audacity. Opening music provided by Eric Jason Brock. You can find him on YouTube and Bandcamp. Thank you for listening.